We aren't live, are we?
Welcome back to Wook Plus on Weekend Wook, joined by Kev and T. What's up,
Happy
guys?
Valentine's Day.
Happy Phish Tour announcement day. I think I'm torn on this one. I love getting Phish dates. I love, you know what, after like them doing the breakup and then even like with COVID, anytime we get more dates is a good day in general, right? The band's still playing. This one is a little, I don't know. It's a little loaded though. We'll get into it. I guess right off the bat, I wanted to give a shout out to all the sources and the nerdy ass wooks that were tracking down rumors in the off season, because these dates lined up. If you've been following our channel, we've been reporting on it. These dates line up pretty much exactly to the rumors that we were getting. So as it turns out, those rumors were all legit.
Except for the man we didn't catch.
Well, we caught that after our last episode. That was a late entry. And now who knows? That might have just been like, paperwork or something. Yeah, so let's run through the dates real quick, and then actually, you want to just go from the top and then talk through them as we go?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so they're starting off the tour again in Alabama. This one is in Huntsville, which it's the Orion Amphitheater. It's kind of cool. I don't know if you've guys seen this. It's a big circular, kind of like the Greek. It has these GA bleachers around it. It looks like a pretty dope venue. It's right near the water. No, not
Have
near
they
the water.
played there before?
No, this is a debut. So, actually, I think this venue's pretty new. I couldn't pick the exact date that it opened, but it looks relatively new. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
So they're playing the Midwest.
Is Alabama the Midwest? I always thought Alabama was the South.
It's in between Baltimore and San Francisco, so it's the Midwest.
I don't think the Midwesterners would consider this a Midwest show for them.
No, man, they're melting so hard right now. This is what the Orion Amphitheater looks like. So
can you sit? You can't sit behind it, but you can sit almost parallel to the stage.
It's a cool looking little venue. It's interesting that it's all like bench seating all the way back.
It's GA too, so it's kind of like you were describing, T. How it's like this is one GA section, this is another GA section, and then this is a third GA section.
What are the prices? Did we look at the prices?
Yeah, I got that here too. So it is $85.95 tiered for the two areas.
95 floor and 85
for 2 and 3
back.
Sections, 2 and 3, whatever.
Which is much cheaper than
the
300 and 150 that the Greek prices have dropped to. So
yeah.
So our theory about them taking advantage of you rich Californians is accurate.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Cost of living,
accurate. Man. Yeah, I know. In fact, I did add up. I added up everything. If you just did like all the weekend like all the 2 days and the 3 day passes, and then did a 7 day pass for MSG and a 4 day for Dick's, and it came out to $2,486 total for GA if you do GA Garden at MSG, and then it came out to $2,394 if you did seats at MSG. So you're still looking at just under $2,500, a little over
I could pay a month and a half mortgage with that.
Right? So it's still a little like
pricey, but
that's and a month off work, because I think it's about a month tour, right? So you'd be taking a month off of work and dropping about $2,300.
That's for the whole tour.
For the whole tour, yeah.
I could go see bands at bars for like 5 years for that.
Well, and that's also almost the cost of one garden terrace seat at the Hollywood Bowl. So,
wow.
So this is a 23 show tour. And then what was the spring is 8 right out in
yeah.
So that brings us to 31. So there's still 19.
9.
Wow, I'm doing all this math really fast.
For 40 shows, if it's there's
50.
not but 40 because it's the 40th anniversary, and you're forgetting Mexico.
All right, I always forget Mexico.
I know Mexico. Everyone never.
That leaves 5 shows, a 5-show residency at the Sphere in Vegas for New Year's.
There you
Now
go.
remember, they're not residencies. Like U2 is not
Right.
calling their thing a residency. It's
You
just
need to tell everybody else
Let's
tweeting
save
besides
those
you about
rumors.
that.
Let's save those rumors for another microdose. We gotta save some content, guys.
right. That's
All
right.
right. So next up in the tour, and I wanted to say the capacities as we go through to get a sense of it. So Orion's 8,000, small place, but it makes sense for a Tuesday, Wednesday to open up.
That
Next,
is small though. 8,000. Wow.
yeah, that's a small one. Next, they're going over to Alpharetta, which is one of the staples, I feel like, of Southeast Phish. They play there a lot. That's a much bigger one. That's at 12,000. Still small compared to some of the real big ones, but bigger than Orion. And again, this is 85, 95 for Pavilion and 50 now for the lawn. So we're back to
Right.
what you
But
would expect for a summer tour.
If you live in New York and you know you got 7 shows, are you even going to bother to think about Alabama and Atlanta? You know,
If
that's
you live in New York, I don't feel bad for you. Miss the fucking shows. It's all right. You get like constant Phish. No, I feel like they don't think the same way. I'm gonna expect it. I don't feel like they think the same way we do. It's like, oh, whole tours. I think they're trying to hit regions with large concentrations of fans, and like there's a large concentration in the
Alabama.
southeast. Well, in the southeast, I
Southeast,
feel
yeah, I think it's that area.
when you come, Alabama's the west side of the southeast, and you come across into Georgia, and
It
then you
isn't
go
the
up to North
Midwest?
Carolina. No, man.
No Arkansas.
No Arkansas.
Do you want me to
sports?
show you? Damn, Kev. All right. So this
What
is
we
the
got
United
next?
States.
Oh, you were already driving there yourself, huh? Doing the whole
Right.
tour.
Right. And this is the Mississippi River. Out here is the Midwest. This is the Rust Belt, and this is the East, and this is the Southeast, including Alabama. So they're hitting up their Southeast, going across, and then they're going up into the Rust Belt.
Well, that does look like they're purposely not going to the Midwest. They're like, we're going as far east as we can.
How hard would it have been to go over to Deer Creek and then come back to Star Lake?
Yeah, but they played Deer Creek 2 years in a row.
I
Deer
feel like
Creek's every
that's-
other year, every third year normally.
I feel like it should be because it'll, hit this big part of the country.
Well, and it's usually a 3-night run, which is nice for all those people in that area to get 3 shows in, and that seems to be what they're doing. Other than I think the Syracuse show is the only single night, right? So everything
Yeah.
else is kind of a 2 or 3 night run. So
Yeah.
And I think they do those brutal rides, David, just to piggyback off that, so people don't do whole tours. All right, I'm going to do Alabama, North Carolina, Alabama, Atlanta, North Carolina. I drop off. I've seen 6, 7 shows instead of making the drive up the PA.
You think that's really the thought behind it?
I think
feel
so,
like
because
I
they
feel
don't
like
end up-
Live Nation controls a lot more of that, and it's just where their venues are. Because one thing I noticed when I was looking at the rumors with this is Dave is doing the same exact tour almost, but a week earlier. Like I feel like it's almost like airport logistics, right? Like they have all these venues they have to book, they have all these bands, and I feel like there's some logistics guy that's trying to figure out the peak weekends and the peak prices, and like they don't. I think there's no consideration for travel, which I guess is kind of what you're saying, but it's not like they're trying to discourage you. I just think they don't give a fuck. Like they're
I feel
trying
like
to maximize the
I think
profits.
I think the Grateful Dead looked at it and were like, how can we make this as easy for everybody to go to as many shows as they can? And I think maybe Phish, maybe all of them these days are like, how can we make it the most difficult so we avoid the problem of having more fans at every show they can get in? And then you have the parking lot issues and you have the cop issues and yada, yada.
All right. I agree that the Dead made it easy and that Phish isn't, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they're making it difficult. I think they're just
think,
not.
yeah,
limbs.
I would say there's probably more issues at hand as like the crew and the like availability of the arenas and like what, and to your point, Tim, what Live Nation puts them in. Because if Dave's doing the same thing, it's just as easy to be like, it's like scheduling, football or whatever. You're like, okay, this works logistically because we can have them follow them right after that
Right.
type thing.
They look too much like Dave.
Okay, so after Alpharetta, they're going to Wilmington. This is cool. I want to share this one. This is fully GA and right on the water. A very cool looking venue. So if anybody's thinking about maybe going there, I think this is going to be a very. This venue lends itself to a really
No
cool.
seats.
No, it's all grass right up to the pit.
But do you buy a row of grass? Or do you buy can you buy I'm in the circle, or do you say I'm in the row of grass? Is it
They only
tiered?
have one price listed for this one. These are 95, so I think this is a full GA.
That is a really interesting venue there too. Is that like in a business park, and then are those like apartments and condos over to the side there?
Probably. You're
Yeah.
hating
Really
life.
interesting.
The
These
guy
are
with the tank outside your window
Yeah.
after the show.
I know. I would assume that. What days are those? What days are those shows of the week?
those are on a Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oof, I would assume those are going to be early shows. Then I would assume too. That's
Right.
crazy.
Get
It's an
there early
interesting,
for the rail for that one.
very interesting venue. That's crazy. It's like a park. It's like playing
Yeah.
out in a park. That's cool.
I
Weird.
like when they have venues like this on the water though, because it gives you that nice breeze and cools you down on a hot July day.
I
and-
got an idea.
what's
I
Totally.
got an idea. We go down there, we rent a boat, and then we just pull up in that water right next to the venue and check the show out for free on the boat.
Totally.
I
man.
feel
Just
like
get
renting a boat's
kayak.
going to be more expensive than the $95 ticket, though. I mean, all right. There's
Yeah,
you got
but
a
you're-
thought.
Friends out there, if we have any friends, comment, like, and let us know.
And you can
We got
enjoy a
boat.
nice yacht rock show.
Okay, so now we go back to another staple and another classic Phish venue. Is Star Lake. And by the way, I love that it's still Star Lake. Right? Like Deer Creek's no longer Deer Creek, and
I thought
the
Star
Tweeter's
Lake
no longer
was-
Tweeter, but
I thought Star Lake was something else for a few years.
I don't know, man. I'm not
And
as
now
old.
it's Star Lake again.
I don't know. But I'm glad it is Star Lake. I think that's cool because it's
That
been
hill fucking
forever.
sucks. If you park in the bottom lot and have to walk up to the venue, there's this fucking long road that's like a 15% grade, and you feel like you're walking up for like 6 hours. to
It's
fucking get
all
to the
downhill
venue.
afterwards.
And it is. And the cops there suck. Well, I haven't been there since 1.0, but the cops.
And I
suck
feel like
back
you say
then.
that about every venue, though. Every time we've
I'm-
talked about like anything off the East Coast, you're like, man, those cops. Look at you.
You're behind the Bible Belt there. You're in trouble.
Well, you're just remembering what it's like to be like 19 years old with like 100 doses
and no cell phone.
and no cell phone. Like, I feel like if you don't do drugs and like you're an adult,
In school, you'll be.
you're cool. They won't fuck with you. Yeah. So this is the largest venue of the tour, 23,000 capacity, big amphitheater, and it has the most complicated pricing. It has 50, 65, 85, 95, and 105. So I guess that's just
What the
Tab
fuck
sections.
is that nonsense?
yeah. And these prices don't include any of their fees or platinum bullshit. I don't know how bad that's going to be.
Tickets on the ground at
There you
that
go,
one.
Kev. It was
After that drive, okay, there
something.
you go.
Oh,
Tickets
thanks,
on the
Jason.
ground at Star Lake after the drive from North Carolina, nobody coming, and then where's the next venue? You have to drive another 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, the next one's Syracuse, and it's a Sunday. But I feel like Syracuse is one of those, New York State is one of the hotbeds of Phish fans. Like, that's going to sell out just from locals.
and that's a
almost
one nighter.
immediately.
That's
Yeah.
That's like we said, the one nighter show.
That's
So
the
I think that'll
Hartford
be a
for this
banger.
summer.
Yeah. What's that?
I was going to say you're going to get a big chalk dust torture, and that's it.
Do I want to dig into what you're talking about?
The one-off Sunday show, like Hartford last year, was what? The Down with Disease, and the rest of the show was meh.
Hartford was great last year.
If you were there, thank you, Noogie.
All right.
Like
So
I
then-
said,
Yeah, St. Joe's is in Syracuse. That's the Sunday show. That's 17.5. I think that's another fairly new amphitheater. At least it looks pretty nice, pretty standard. But here, let me share this again. I should be better at this point. I've done it like a million times. But standard shed,
Mhm.
good show. Be a nice Sunday night, and then boom. And then my friends, they're coming back to Philadelphia, and that is where I'm from. So I'm pumped about that. If you haven't been to the Man, I highly recommend Pavilions. I'm not one of these.
no. You don't recommend the Man to anyone.
It's all right, dude.
I want to go.
You don't think you're gonna be able to make it? You don't
I'm
think we'll
gonna
get you
make
tickets?
it. I'm gonna have to find a way up there though, and then I'm gonna get to your house, and you're gonna take care of me.
Oh, okay.
like you always do.
All right. Can I continue?
Yeah.
So if you're going to the Man, I highly recommend you hit the pavilion. I'm not traditionally one of these people on summer tour that's like, oh, I need to have paths. I actually most of the time prefer the lawn. But at the Man, the sight line is shit in the lawn. The audio is shit in the lawn. You'll have a good time if you're with your crew and like dancing and stuff. Like, I'm not saying you won't have a good time, but the difference between the pavilion and the lawn at the Man is a greater divide than anywhere else, any other venue. So this is the one if you have to choose to, fork it up.
You got to get way down low. The
Gotta get
second night
close.
we were in that little patch of grass below the walkway, and we were below the ceiling of the pavilion, whatever you call that.
Yeah. Anywhere in the pavilion though is pretty nice. And it is designed for symphonies. It's like it has a very good acoustics. So I mean, and once you're in a pavilion, you're golden, but try to avoid the lawn there. And then we have a 7-night run at MSG. So all those people that were saying the MSG rumors were bullshit, I guess not. It is weird that they're not doing 8 nights because they're not playing that last Sunday. They're doing a Tuesday, Wednesday, taking Thursday off, and then Friday, Saturday, and skipping the Sunday show.
Let me throw something at you.
Sure.
We said it was going to be 16. They announced 7. They're going to do another 9 at Vegas for over a 2-week period, 3-week period for New Year's. And that's your 16 shows.
No.
Or they just do another 9 in the fall out there.
I'm trying to make Vegas fetch. So
see that.
I mean, the reason 16 was the going rumor was because it was tongue in cheek at Harry Styles. And if you split it up, they're not going to have a 16 banner. And there's really no other logical reason to have it be 16. I think this is simply, it's easy and convenient for Trey. They like playing there, and they were reminded last April what it's like to play not on New Year's at MSG, right? Like to do a spring or summer run there. And there is something special about it, I think. I don't think I'm going to be hitting these shows.
I don't need COVID.
Yeah, and I got a baby coming.
I know. I'm 0 for 2 at going to MSG and getting COVID lately, so I'm definitely out of those, I think. But I think it's fun that it's to end the tour and it's at home, so they can like have fun, not be on the road and do their thing, and then they're already there. Like,
at least Trey's at home,
right? But it's
the rest of them have to go to Vermont and Maine, but
basically their home court. So
Trey is
going
Phish.
to wrap up the tour.
And then we have a long time off. That's what kills me is they're going to get rusty.
I hate the long time off. I hate the month off before going to Dick's, because then the good news is at least Dick's is 4 nights again, so night 1 can be that whatever, and then we get 3 bangers. But I always hate that long time off.
Can we get a Taper's Choice night 0 again? Because that was the best thing last year.
That was fun.
Hopefully more bands will do, like, somebody will do it again, because even the Higgs were out there doing a night 0 show and got no love because we were all Taper's Choice fans. But somebody needs to do another night 0 play.
The Higgs should have emailed us and asked what was going on.
So, so Fuego, I don't think we're gonna get a summer festival. The thing about festivals is that it's a big process. It's not just a private deal with Live Nation or whatever. They need to go in for permits, and there's a lot more with vendors and stuff. So those actually traditionally come out and leak before the summer tour dates when there are. So I think it's pretty safe to say that there's no festival. I think there's still, and maybe this is me just being optimistic and hopeful, there's still an outside chance of getting a winter festival in a warm location, like a December for the 40th anniversary,
or another Halloween in India, like doing.
You could do another Halloween in India. You could do a New Year's type thing.
No festival ever again. You can count this at 1858 live right now.
I do think that between MSG and Dick's, though, there'll be individual shows like they usually do. Like Mike will probably play a couple shows.
He's been doing festivals.
Like Trey will maybe play a show or two with Trey Band somewhere. I think they will play. I don't think they'll take that time off. I can't see Trey sitting around doing nothing for almost a month of not playing. And same with Mike. Like he seems to like hit the road on those weeks. So they won't come into Dick's completely cold, I don't think. But as a band, I don't think they'll be playing together before Dick's. And then after Dick's, I mean, who knows when if we'll get a Halloween announcement or whatever, and then whatever is. So
I don't know if I fully 100% agree or buy into the big break makes them super rusty. Like I know they do on like tour openers, they have some things, but I don't know. Like I feel like they've also had some really good New Year's shows, and those are typically large breaks, right? Like 28th and 29th come back. I think if coming back to
But
Dick's, I think they could still have a great
I
Dick's
would
run.
say though, to your point though, like MSG is just different no matter what. They could take a year off and come back to MSG and
Dick's has been
smoke.
on a downward trajectory. Maybe it's because I showed up the last 2 years, but it's been
It
You
hasn't
guys
been
are all
like
fucking negative Nancy's. I had a blast at Dick's.
I have a blast. I just
because
think
I
the
was with you
shows-
guys.
The shows in general you don't talk about as like the last thing you really talk about was the 15 thank you set. Like nobody really there's not a
You
whole
know
lot
what
of
it
standout
was.
highlights from it. You know what I mean? Like before that it was always the S show and fucking like there's all these different
And the
things
other
to talk
shows were
about
meh.
with Dick's, and then it kind of has just kind of been like, yeah, Dick's, it's fun, it's a great time. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome to end the summer and see all you guys in Labor Day and rage, but you know,
You guys are too hard, man.
we
You gotta
are.
just relax,
Hey,
have fun.
hey,
You know what it was though? Is the fucking prairie dogs. That's
Fuck
what
it up.
happened when they got rid of the camping and shit, and that's what
ever
ruined
fucked
since
it
the
up.
plague, yeah.
But I don't buy that. Like, oh, I need the gimmick because I think that's like you can have a fucking raging fish show without the
But
whatever the set spells something bullshit.
No, you don't need a gimmick.
Were any of the shows last year, maybe the Friday night, were any of them really raging?
Yeah, the lightning rounds, the rain
That's
show.
Friday.
Yeah, the
that was
Friday
the
show was
Friday show.
fucking-
That was
The
all
rain
killer,
show,
no
but-
filler. But
the gimmick was there, Tim. We got the rain.
But that was a gimmick from God, T.
people were bringing tanks into the motherfucking place. You know,
No, I'm just kidding. We definitely don't need gimmicks. I mean, I could care less about a gimmick. I just want a rager banger of a show, like something that stands out that you're like, oh fuck, I can't remember that, like the Dick's Light, and like little things that you're like, that.
I'm giving
out
you
to me.
shit for gimmicks, but the next time they do one, I'll be like, God, I wish I was there, or I'm so glad I was here. It's just
gimmick.
the cool thing is to fucking make
Totally,
fun of
can be a
gimmicks.
part of it. It's a FOMO thing with the gimmicks.
So I guess maybe in the comments, let us know which shows you're going to be hitting and what you think about this tour. We'll probably be doing some follow-ups with this, as more things go and develop. And we will be doing live recaps 15 minutes after encore after every single show this tour. Also,
that 8-5 is interesting that they left the Sunday open.
Yeah, we're going to have to dig into that, see why. Something's up.
Because
Something
7 shows
suspicious.
instead of 8. 8's a nice round number. 7 is not a round number.
Very good.
Good, Kev. Good math class. But it's time to start planning your summer tour, which is nice. They finally announced it. Happy Valentine's Day.
We're all
It was a
looking for
nice
tickets.
treat.
If anybody has extras, hit us up.
Hit us up.
And,
Hopefully we see everybody at Dick's. We'll be out there, have the flag on the lot again, be raging. So,
Maybe
Yeah.
partial nudity.
No, definitely not that. And join us tomorrow.
community.